Imagine being afraid to hold your lover's hand walking down the street on a date. Imagine being afraid to tell your parents about this crush you've had on someone for a long time in fear of the consequences you might face. Imagine being scared to confess your feelings to someone you really care about in fear your secret will get out. Today I will be discussing the Parental Rights in Education Bill and why you should be against it, also known as the Don't Say Gay Bill. As the 3 points I would like to cover within this essay discuss the ideas about how this bill prevents safe space for LGBT youths, how dangerous it is to exclude these topics in school, and how beneficial it can be to include LGBTQ plus ideas and knowledge within schools. And additionally, I will be discussing the counter argument that goes along with this. Within my first main point, I would like to state an excerpt from the bill itself. As it states, prohibits classroom discussion about sexual orientation or gender identity in certain grade levels. As this becomes problematic, as students who are growing up during this time frame are very confused about who they are and who they are becoming after high school, after school in general. The fact that you take away these ideas and resources for students to access and understand what they might be going through creates more confusion and prolonged doubt in who they are and their identity, and even internal struggles with feeling they aren't worthy enough of being them true selves. Additionally, another excerpt from the bill directly states, requires school districts to notify parents of healthcare services, as this can be very problematic, as not all people who identify within the community come from safe households. Sometimes, and it's a very common thing where LGBTQ youth are identified within the community, however their parents are very against it. And them being outed without their consent from an adult they would trust at a school, which is supposed to be a safe place for them, ultimately creates distraught and stress within additional environment. Now you have an unsafe home and have to worry about hiding who you are at school in fear of being outed. As supporting to why I feel this is so important, from a survey of 35,000 LGBTQ youths, 42% of them have considered attempting suicide. Additionally, in a 2003 survey, students who identified as gay or within the community and versus heterosexual students took a survey and compared it as people who identified within the community were 5 times more likely to attempt suicide, 3 times more likely to skip school for fear of safety, and 3 times more likely to be threatened or injured at school because of their identity and expression of self. As this leads me to my second point, how exclusion on the topic creates a fear mentality. Excluding this idea and these topics allows people to look at being gay as wrong. It allows the fear and idea of you're different, and I don't like that, where the negative outlook ultimately creates a multitude of issues. Whether excluding LGBT talk in sex ed creates higher sex STD transmission rates among students, not knowing what safe sex is and what it looks like for them in their form of love. Additionally, how it creates the idea of I'm not normal and something's wrong with me, that they feel like this when they identify and figure out that they might be a part of the community. As finally, though, I would like to move to my final and third point, as education on the topic allows wider knowledge for all students to understand what LGBTQ plus means, as students might not identify within the community within high school or within school at that moment, but later down their life, if they do, they would have a backing to understand what they might be feeling and going through. Additionally, freedom of self-expression in a safe space allows students to focus on getting their education in, not having to worry about being themselves, rather worry about their grades and furthering their education down the line. As school should be about learning and growing, not survival of the fittest. And additionally, it creates an adult support system, allowing students to have trust in grown adults who can keep their secret with them and allow them to freely be themselves without worrying of having to express to another adult, this is me, and rejection of that. As this second home, which school should be for students who don't get it, is being taken away with this bill. Finally, in this counter argument, some might discuss that LGBTQ shouldn't be discussed because of personal beliefs or the idea that they're too young to understand. As I thank you for this time, this is why you should be against the Don't Say Gay bill. As exclusion of LGBTQ plus rights and discussions in schools creates unsafe spaces, fear about LGBTQ plus communities rooted in no education on the topic, and how beneficial it can be to teach and create better environments for students who identify in this community. Be open to those around you. Love who you love. If someone can't handle that, there is always a true family waiting to reach out a hand for you. You always have a true home no matter where or what happens. For more information on how you can help or even donate to LGBTQ plus communities, please check out the Trevor Project website, which will be linked down in the description below. Thank you for your time and have a wonderful day.